Exterior courtyard. With Ko behind him, Rambo runs towards the compound fence. A shout from nearby, a running guard, and Ko open up with their assault rifles simultaneously. The guard dives for cover. Rambo lifts the wire for Ko to wiggle under. She reciprocates from him to the tower guard, spins his long unused PK machine gun and opens fire. Ko fires from the shoulder. The tower guard flinches at the unexpected return fire, dives, his shots go wild. Ko's AK empties. She drops it. Rambo and Ko make it into the forest. Running full out, more AKs open up behind them, both tower PKs. Exterior, rainforest. Handheld preceding Rambo at a dead run as he crashes through foliage. The forest is an insane blur. Tracers whip by. Ruler straight lines of red light. Deadly fire flies. So Rambo's pretty much almost naked here. He's only got on his boxers right now. I wonder if this is kind of a nod back to David Morrell's First Blood when Rambo escapes naked. Bark explodes from the tree trunks around them. Leaves are ripped into green confetti. They angle away from the blind firing, stop at a game trail. Rambo panting to Ko, "You are amazing." Ko is furious at his dwindling. She replies, pointing down trail, "Did Mao, go go!" She spins and sprints away along down the trail, disappearing in a moment. Rambo hesitates an instant, then runs the other way. Interrogation room, interior. Polyushin, his nose and mouth streaming blood, claws his way up the desk and reels across the dark room to Budovsky. He hurls the metal frame off of his superior, who groans feebly. Exterior courtyard. A guard holds Sergeant Tay's shoulders as he retches. Polyushin strides. So I'm guessing Tay's throwing up now from that kick. Polyushin strides out of the interrogation blockhouse and jerks the sergeant to his feet by his collar. He points to the rainforest. Polyushin, in Vietnamese subtitle. "Fine, now." He releases the Viet sergeant and briskly walks towards the MI24. Tay weakly calls orders BG, rounding up his guards. The Russian pilot is waiting dutifully near his machine as Polyushin approaches. The black beret makes a circular hand signal. "Wind her up." Exterior rainforest. Rambo at a dead run zigzags along the dark game trail. The path steepens, and he claws at exposed roots, climbing as much as running. Beneath him is the rising sound of rotors. Exterior rainforest near camp. Using hand lights to follow the footprints, Tay's squad of 6 guards jogs into the jungle. Behind them, through the trees, the massive assault helicopter and its escort of Huey rise into the night. The 3 choppers switch on their high-intensity searchlights. As they thunder overhead, shafts of light pierce the jungle, sweeping and searching. Exterior forest. Rambo is climbing rapidly, using roots as handholds to ascend the steep trail. The whoomp of helicopters approaches, the glare of light flickering behind him. Rambo moves into a densely woven thicket, freezes, watches, moves on. Exterior forest nearby. The guards are ascending the trail like hounds. Exterior forest trail. Rambo crashes through foliage as a searchlight sweeps toward him. It races over him, backlighting him as he dives off the trail. The searchlight flickers past him, snaps back. Tracers rip down through the trees, red slashes of death. Rambo tumbles, rolls, comes up running, then tears through the jungle in a frenzy. The foliage is alive with blasting air. He dives over the edge of a muddy ravine, dropping through tangled vines, Catching, clawing, dropping. He runs on, totally manic. They can't target him. He hits a solid trail and sprints, really covering ground. The shaft of light scans back and forth behind him, then further away. They've lost him for the moment. Angle. Above jungle canopy. As the choppers circle, seemingly dueling with lances of light. Exterior trail nearby. Rambo moving rapidly, but more carefully, glides among the trees. He stops at a bank of a tiny stream, settling down, knife and pistol, scooping stinking black mud from the stream bed. He begins to slather it over his pale skin, with quick, sure strokes, arms, legs, body. Tight on Rambo's face. Eyes closed as he smears the goo thoroughly over every exposed area. His eyes open. It is a Neolithic pharaoh visage that turns away into the foliage. On the guards, moving forward cautiously, unfamiliar with tracking, and little else really except bullying weak prisoners. They crash around clumsily, falling and cursing in the dense thicket, close on Rambo. Moving in absolute silence nearby, he freezes. 15 meters away is a small wild pig, asleep under a knot of vines. Rambo fires the Makarov, hitting the earth near the pig. It squeals and leaps up. The guards wave their AKs, looking for the source of the shot. They hear something crashing through the undergrowth to the right. Moving in dense brush, they open fire. In a crash of sustained fire is deafening. The blast blindly away, lighting up the forest. Their attention is so focused, the din so loud, they do not notice a dark figure moving up behind them. Rambo snatches the wayward last guard into the thicket, knife buried to the hilt, hand over his mouth. Tay shouts repeatedly to cease firing, and the others finally stop. They move away, advancing on their target. Tay gingerly parts woven branches, revealing the pig, riddled with hundreds of 7.62 millimeter rounds. He turns to the others. Tay, in Vietnamese. Where's Trang? The other guards look around, puzzled. On Rambo. A shadow in the shadows. He slips the clip from the AK-47 he has liberated, but finds it almost empty, sets it down quietly. Tay spreads his men out to sweep the area in an arc. The guards advance, stricken with a glowing unease. Exterior, rainforest. Low angle through the trees as the Soviet assault helicopter passes overhead. Its searchlight sweeping the canopy of foliage, lashes violently as the rotor wash blasts through it. Monkeys shriek and leap out. On Rambo, foreground. As the godlike shaft of light moves through the brush behind him, searching, passing within meters of him, he moves quickly off. The disk of hideous bright light passes over two guards, blinding them. One trips and goes down. The other, the outermost man, off the sweep, waits for him to rise, and waits. Guard in Vietnamese. Vuoc, you all right? The guard moves cautiously to his friend's last position. Ahead, face down in the shallow stream, is the body of Vuoc, his blood running away with the water. Approaching the body warily, the guard plays his flashlight around him in a full circle, but nothing. Detail on the mud bank. Featureless matted vines and mud. Suddenly, a pair of eyes snap open. On guard, kneeling over Vuoc in the VG. Behind him there is silent movement among the gnarled roots and vines in a muddy embankment. Blending flawlessly with the mud bank, Rambo's mud-crusted figure has been in plain view, yet concealed, until he opens his eyes and moves. He emerged noiselessly and moves up behind the guard looming above him. Interior, exterior, MIL, MI-24. Polyution. Sorry about that. Polyution means mans the forward cockpit. Sorry, I got lost there for a second. The weapons bay. His hand clutches the handles of a machine gun as he scans the jungle below. The pilot directs the searchlight as he flies. Polyution touches his nose gingerly. It is clearly broken, becoming a thickened purplish mass. Exterior rainforest. Realizing they are without their flankers, the two center guards call out and move toward their last positions. They stand together at the top of the mud bank, gaping at the two bodies sprawled below. Angle on Tay. Isolated, calling for his men to sound off, he hears a distant shout, then a quick burst of gunfire. Tay says, "Boy, Fong, time! 10! There is no answer. Interior, MIL, MI-24. Polyution points at something on the ground, the mud banks arcing around his searchlight target. Exterior rainforest. Tay moves forward hypnotically, as if transfixed. The celestial shaft of the searchlight burns down ahead. He approaches. Like a vision, he sees the body of his men, sprawled in a quivering disk of light. One has been stripped of his clothing. He stares around, terrified, staggers back, lip quivering. Tay drops his rifle and runs back through the jungle. Exterior, rainforest, ridge. Rambo climbs steadily. The mud, dissolving in sweat, runs in streaks off of his body. He has stopped to slip on the fatigue pants he took from one of the guards. The pants come to mid-calf, but the material will protect him against brambles and insects. He has also acquired an AK-47 with extra magazines. His pockets bulge with Soviet-made grenades. Rambo moves off into the mountains. Exterior rainforest, dirt road. Tay stumbles out of the underbrush into a pool of light. The headlight of a Viet Army troop transport. A squad of men runs past him into the jungle, fanning out. Another truck arrives. The search is on in full force. Interior, exterior, flight center. Nikon Phantom AFB Dawn. An F-4 Phantom jet taxis amid moving ground equipment under the floodlights as the sky slowly lightens. D plus 53 hours. Nikon Phantom Thailand. Pan off the flight line onto Troutman gazing out the window of a small office. He looks haggard, soul-weary. With the receiver cradled at his ear, he is waiting for a call to connect. Troutman says into the phone, "Bob, hi, did you get my telex?" Now I'm wondering if this is a reference to Bob Griggs. I remember last time I read this, I was wondering if this was a reference to Bob Griggs, even though in Rambo 3, Troutman and Griggs are already friends. In the Morale version, they are not. They meet. Troutman explains their meeting in that novel. But, yeah, I'm wondering if this is a nod to Bob Griggs here, Kirkwood Smith's character. Anyway, Troutman says into the phone, "Bob, hi, did you get my telex?" Pause. "Yeah, I know what time it is there. Do you know what time it is here? Look, is there anything you can do up the line? You owe me one. I'm calling it in." Pauses. "Yes, this time." Pauses again. "I know you're a general, and I'm only a colonel." Long pause. "So that's it, huh? Back off, come home, that's it?" Pause, then frostily, "Thanks, buddy." He slams the receiver into its cradle and sits pondering, but is about to make a somewhat bizarre decision for a full colonel. Troutman opens the door, and the young corporal in the office beyond turns in his chair. Troutman says, "Get me a loach. I'm going back to Ban Bangla." Corporal replies to Troutman, "Yes, sir."